Hi, Mr. Weaver. Tyler Barron here for the week 4 summary. I wanted to kick things off with this multi-dimensional humanity discussion we had. Um, I read through the entire document and I made my comment, but I just kind of wanted to review it. One of the things I really, or that really stuck out to me was right here where you said, since these human constructs, however divinely inspired, are aimed at entirely different domains, they shouldn't ever be in conflict. And originally I in a sense agreed with that, but the more I looked at it, um, I had some other thoughts, and here's my comment right here. Basically what I thought was that religion is the cause of morals. Without religion, we don't have morals. And so morals, because morals are involved in all of the domains, that is what causes the conflict specifically between religion and all the others. Um, the reason I think without religion there would be no morals is because we don't really know why it's wrong to kill another human, but we all agree it's true. I believe that it's due to the history of religion and spiritualism and that spread, and that is what had morals. And I believe that's what people followed when coming up with their own morals, and stuff like that. And because of that, that's what caused us to follow those morals. And so now, because there are people with different religions, there are people with different morals. And so that's the conflict, is when you're talking policies in a political campaign. Somebody may argue that one person is better because their morals are better. However, to another person, somebody else's morals may be the ones that are more attractive. So that that may be one thing that causes a lot of conflict between religion specifically and the other three domains. Another example would be if you look at animals, most animals will kill anything that benefits the advancement of their species. Animals don't have that emotional aspect. It's just logical. Um, Sure, monkeys don't kill each other all the time necessarily, but that's because it doesn't help them. Humans ignore emotion or ignore the logic and the advancement at times and only follow their emotion and kill their own kind, even though that doesn't benefit us. And we're really one of the only species that I know of, at least, to do that. Um, and again, that's because we have that emotional aspect, whereas animals don't, and that's why animals don't kill their own, and we do, even though we have morals and they don't. Um, all right, so that's pretty much it for that discussion. I also did like somebody pointed out that it's all about being open-minded, and that I really could not agree with more. I mean that to me, having a conversation is completely useless if you don't have an open mind. I mean, if you're not willing to listen or hear out another person, then what's the point in the conversation if you're not actually taking in what they're saying? You don't necessarily have to agree with it or decide it's true or whatever, but at least hearing it and at least processing it and thinking about it, that's a big deal, and that's how we advance as a society. I mean, if you have an idea and I have a way to improve upon that idea, and you just ignore me because you don't want to listen, that's harming us. Whether or not you you believe my idea was actually improvement or not, at least hearing it and making the decision as opposed to just ignoring me is at least better for society, because thinking is always a good thing. Thinking and sharing thoughts and ideas and brainstorming, and I mean, yeah, that's that's the most important part about society, is being able to talk like that. If we're not talking to each other, then it's not a society. All right. Next, let's see, what else did we do this week? Modules. So this week we also had part one. Okay, so for part one for the project, so for this project, my group was myself, Tyler Barron, Simon Bridger, and Gerald Pallid, and we decided for our project that we were going to. Let me go here. Pause this real quick. Sorry about that. Just wanted to get it to where I pulled up without having a long pause. We went with a Pratt truss bridge, and these are some pictures of the physical model we built. Took a couple hours probably for the entire building process, maybe a little bit longer for just setup and supplies and whatnot. Um, Turned out pretty good. We liked how it looked. Basically, the way we split up roles was I was the one that built it, so I did a lot of that. Gerald helped contribute to the design um, and thoughts on size and scaling for the physical build. And then he was the one that built it in the online software, designed that and dropped that. We all made a version of the software uh, or of the bridge in a software. Then we all sent it to each other, and then we decided out of those three what bridge we liked the most, and the one we liked the most was the Pratt bridge, and so that's the one we decided to build. So Simon submitted his version. The other thing Simon did was Simon is the one submitting the actual document, so he helped put together and actually word the paragraphs in the document and whatnot. Um, Calculations. The only calculations that were really had to be done was mainly the scaling calculations. So in the uh, software prototype, it was each one of these uh, squares right here was 2 meters by 2 meters. And so the way we scaled it was we actually, uh, instead of meters, we used inches, and every and we actually scaled it up by 2. So for every 2 inches is 1 meter. So it's 4 inches. That way in the software it represents 2 meters. So it's basically uh, 20 inches completely all the way across. You got 2 inches there, 2 inches there, then four in each of these. And then it's a total of 4 inches tall. Um, so that was the kind of the calculations for just the scaling of the bridge and stuff like that. Um, not much else for calculating. Obviously, there wasn't too much to be done when it comes to that. Was there anything else that we did this week? Multidimensional Humanity, Part 1 report. No, so that's pretty much it. Again, I've really enjoyed this multidimensional humanity discussion, or whatever you may call it. That was extremely intriguing to me because I had never really thought about that, how ideally they are four separate categories and so they shouldn't conflict, but they do. And being religious myself, it does relate to me, and I at times can find it hard to find the line between religion and science. But at other times, but most of the time, I'd like to say I'm really good at separating the two because they are different conversations. Um, Saying evolution exists doesn't disprove that a God of sorts exists, and saying God exists doesn't disprove evolution. Um, there's like you said, there's certain things or there's certain aspects in evolution that may explain certain things, but it's kind of silent and doesn't help explain other things. And so I've always seen it as it can be a mix that sure evolution exists, but why does it exist? Well, personally, I believe it's because God made it exist. God set it up that way. Another thing this is one of my bigger things, is people may talk about the age of the earth and how that doesn't correlate to what the Bible says. And what I've always said is that, sure, the Grand Canyon may be billions of years old in design, but who's to say that year one in the Bible wasn't set up to be year 10 million already in the Grand Canyon? Maybe the way God designed it was to make it look like the earth was that old when in reality it's brand new. So I've always seen it like that. Um, it's one way I kind of cope with and help share the idea that one part of science doesn't necessarily disprove that part of religion, because they can work in sync. Um, so I've always kind of thought that, and this discussion that you had kind of really helped support that idea, or gave me extra thoughts on that idea. So that was really cool. But that's pretty much it. So that'll be it for my week 4 summary. Hopefully that covered everything. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye.